Hello and welcome to this episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, where today I'm going to be talking about the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s.
So the big question is this: how are parents like us, who don't have a manual, who are doing the best we can, who feel as though we aren't enough, how are we going to raise healthy, happy children who we are proud of and still keep our sanity in that process? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Ryan Roy, and welcome to I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, a podcast for parents who are being real with themselves.
Hello and welcome back to this episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, where today I'm going to be talking about the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s and how we teach these very basic fundamentals to our children, and specifically our toddlers. So my wife and I were having a discussion just last night about how much more information our newly 2-year-old, he's 2 years and 1 week old. He knows all of his ABCs. He can say his entire ABCs. He can count to 14 simply because we have 14 steps in our house, and every time we go up and down the steps with him, we count the steps. So he could count to 14 pretty easily on his own. He could recognize numbers 1 through 10. He recognizes, I think I already said it, but he recognizes all of his letters. At this point, he recognizes all of his primary and just basic colors: white, black, brown, red, green, purple, orange. He knows all of those and can recognize them. So whenever we go places at this point, we went to Hobby Lobby last night to pick up some Halloween decorations. And my wife decided to drop he and I off, went and got a parking spot, and I'm standing out in front of the store. So I was like, what color is the sign? He's like, orange. And then we just go through the letters: H-O-B-B-Y, L-O-B-B-Y, right? Repetition, repetition, repetition. So then my wife and I were talking about this, and we said, she doesn't recall our older son doing this until he was closer to 3. And she goes, "What? This one's so much smarter." I don't think he's smarter. I don't want to define my kids as smart and intelligence that way. What I would say is the shows that he watches, we tend to put a lot of YouTube Kids on for him. And I started thinking about what my other son watched. He watched a lot of Disney, where he had Mickey Mouse and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and they would talk about 1, 2, 3 or recognize numbers, but there wasn't as much repetition as he gets from YouTube Kids, because there will be a 30-minute video on just the ABC train, and they'll go over the alphabet 20 times in that 30-minute video, and they'll take dedication to each letter of A is for apple, apple, right? And then they say that and they repeat it. So because of that pure repetition from videos that are made by people, not necessarily companies like Disney, where they're trying to sell a product, right? They're just getting YouTube views. And they know parents will take those YouTube views and watch that over and over and over again. And the person who created the video, the only thing they're really trying to accomplish is to get more views. Where Disney's trying to sell movies and Mickey Mouse things. And I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying there's more repetition in these YouTube videos than even my son got just 6 years ago himself. I will also say this. I've been saying the ABCs to this kid since the day he came out the womb. Every day, at least once a day, I would say, at least for the first 3 months, I would say the alphabet. Typically, when I spend time with him, I would say the alphabet. Now the alphabet is just him just repeating something. But the fact that he understands letters and sounds also, he recognizes each letter, is simply because the repetition. He understands numbers simply because of the repetition. So what am I getting at here? And I know parents out there are like, hey, I don't remember to count to 10 or say the ABCs every single day. And I'm not a huge proponent. There's people that are like, screens, no screens, screens are too much for the kids. Listen, if it's educational and they're hearing things in the background that are going to be helping them, because he's not glued to the TV, it's on in the background as he's playing with his toys or he's playing with us. But it's there, and the repetition allows him to pick it up. And isn't that everything in learning in life? I mean, isn't really, I don't know jack about parenting, but if I hear a song 50 times in a row, I'm probably going to know the majority of the lyrics. So if we want them to read and be competent, why wouldn't we put these things in front of them as much as possible? And seeing we have the resources and tools to do so, even when they're away from me, even when I'm not doing the ABCs with them, he still gets that opportunity to hear it. Whether it's me or the TV or even a DVD or an audio, why would we not want to introduce our children to things that are going to benefit them long term? And the basic building blocks of fundamental reading and fundamental math is knowing our letters and numbers. So encourage them as much as possible through repetition of these very basic skills. We'll see you in the next episode.
Do you want to be the dad you wish you had? If so, go get my free book, Be the Dad You Wish You Had, at BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com. Inside, you'll find my most effective 40 tips to quickly and easily transform yourself into the ideal dad. Go to BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com now and get it while it's free.